What's good, guys? It's your boy Strong Arm back at you with another video. In today's topic, I'm gonna get into some of the comments that was made by Nicki Minaj. She recently did an interview, or they was talking online, or I think it was IG with Joe Budden, and she had a few choice words, a few choice things to say about brothers in the Manosphere, and things that are being said in the spaces, and she excluded Kevin. She completely disregarded that Kevin would have anything or would talk like this. But she had a few choice words to say. Now, before I really get into it, I do want to say that I don't agree with brothers going over the top, basically with the, attacking, the commentary going at black women. I personally don't have any grudges directly with black women like that. I like to be able to speak on the talking points of what we're actually trying to get at so we can have a clear, cohesive conversation. Okay. There were some things that were said that I do disagree with from her end, and I kind of want to address that. Because as they were talking, they were getting into the conversation. She said that, black men, we love y'all, this and that, we need you, this and that, and that's fine. Okay. Good. That's great. Good to hear you say everything else about that. And of course, Joe was testifying to everything she was saying. Of course. Right. But she did make a few choice comments. She said a few things talking about that she don't feel like men need to be saying certain things about black women's lace fronts and this and that, and you disrespecting black women and all this other. We've been up and down these roads before, right? And I personally don't know exactly what podcaster she was talking about when she said, "Oh, I wish that would have been me on that podcast," or you wouldn't have done that to me and this and that. But it's just like, Nikki, like, what would you have done differently? You know what I'm saying? Like, any individual black man who has an issue with what's going on out here with the things that black women are doing, you make it sound like that black men are not supposed to be speaking out on it, right? Like, y'all keep that in private, because she even said, "Oh, talk about that in private if you're going to say something about it like that." It's almost like, but we've been doing that. Has it worked? That's been done. Has it made a difference or a change? You have to understand, as men, we do things that will make effective changes. Not have y'all sit back and try to dictate how things go. See, men are at the point to where they're retaliating against the fuckery that women have been doing. And y'all want to try to dictate the retaliation. It doesn't go that way. You can't say, "Oh, black men, y'all need to get back in pocket and da-da-da," because you're comfortable as long as you feel like you're ruling somebody. You're comfortable as long as you feel like you're in charge. But see, that's the thing. Y'all are starting to realize that men are waking up, and enough men are speaking out saying y'all are not in charge. Okay? And excuse the generations before that have failed in this regard. Not really pointing any fingers or elbows about it, but excuse the generations before that have failed and made y'all believe that y'all run something or run the community, or that you should be running the community. Let me run that back, that you should be. Because everything that Nikki was talking about, she said, "Who do you think you are to say something like that, this and that? Who do you think you are to tell men how to speak? How about, instead of taking it personal, why don't you identify why it is that certain men are saying certain things and what you can do to correct that?" Because when you have the single narrative, because on one hand she was saying, "Oh, we need y'all." Okay. But like even Kev was saying, are you listening to what black men are saying that they want, though? Are you listening? Okay. Because it sounds like it's like y'all who speak this and talk this talk are starting to make noise, and we need to silence that down. Like she said, y'all need to speak in private. Really. So we need to keep our heads down, shuck and jive in the back of the field house when we can't be heard or seen. So we're not supposed to have a public opinion about the issue that's going on in the community. We're not allowed to speak. Well, black men, y'all need to be quiet. Why do we need to be quiet? Does it make you look bad? Do you feel the sting? Does it bother you? Well, that means it's working. It's called being effective. Okay? Don't expect men just to sit back and keep quiet while the community burns down. For those who are trying to resurrect or have some hope that things are going to work out, there are certain things that are going to have to be addressed. And I even give you this. It wouldn't be so bad. You would not have certain men, individuals complaining so much or saying or speaking out so much if they were getting the type of love reciprocated that they were giving out. Because she also made a comment talking about, some ugly ass black man got rejected and now he's mad or he's hurt. That's why the gynocrats and those who defend it, one of their hottest talking points is trying to say, oh, you mad, you big mad. Who hurt you? Where when you look at it, it's just like, you make it sound like these men who are getting rejected are just garbage men automatically. And coming from Nikki with her backlining of what she was saying behind it made it sound like, oh, these men are justified to get the treatment that they get. Y'all should have been rejected. She should have took you through the court systems. She should have screwed you over and fucked your homeboy and all the other shit. Oh, she should have done that. Because I heard defense of the fuckery. And I'm like, Nikki, how can you defend and make it seem like there is no talking point or reason as to why these men are saying what they're saying? As if there's no point as to which men need to speak out. See, men are speaking out now. And it's running up the chain to where now it's on Nikki's ears and her doorstep. And I don't hear any strong counterpoints coming from her either. Instead of shame, we're going to shame y'all into get back in line. See, the thing is, you're trying to contain men. But see, now you're trying to contain men with an idea and a purpose. You can't stop it. And there's a lot of people who probably even go beyond Nikki who know damn well they can't stop it. So right now, they're trying to hedge and get ready for the brunt. They're trying to step around it the best way they can. Because there's a lot of fire that's finna come back. All that nonsense that was going on from early 2000s, 90s, all the way back up. We've talked about these things many times. But now it's coming back. Now you're starting to hear men compare notes. Now we got the advent of the internet. Now we got the advent of blogs, podcasts. And you're starting to hear the same things that echoed back and forth. Men are starting to speak out. And the thing is, Nikki wants to be upset at men who are calling out. She harped on lace fronts and stuff like that, basically indicating that men don't like women who wear weave and stuff like that, which is usually, more often, a black woman thing, part of the culture that men say that they also don't like. Part of that is her being upset at men, but you should kind of be upset at the women who continue to perpetuate these narratives. You want to get mad at men. Men do not run the black community. You should have the smoke for your sisters. If anything, you should have the smoke for them. Because as we've seen and as we rehearse these things, this is about power. Okay? Black women know they run the community, and now men are retaliating. And as soon as black men's voices start to be heard, now it's a problem. You know why? Because that requires change now to start happening. This also requires black women to start competing or openly understanding that they need to start competing for what they thought was once theirs. Right? That's just like, imagine that you, as a child, you had a toy for so long and your parent takes it from you and said, no, you're going to have to work for it to get it back. That child's going to be a little bit upset, huh? So, the thing is that we're starting to see the change take place. We're starting to see the change of hands go on. In the Advent, we're still doing with the Pookie and Ray Ray war. You know, War of the Roses. You know, shout out to Ed. You know what I mean? Like, and to me, that whole thing I think is foolishness. Like, I feel like we really shouldn't be warring with each other like that. Right? You know what I mean? That to me, that I feel like that's not necessary. We should maintain a strong and cohesive structure, barrier, whatever we're trying to build as men, we need to build it. Whoever went after Angry Man like that, you a hoe ass nigga. Whoever went after Angry Man like that, you a hoe ass nigga. Because you fucking the game up. Because we're supposed to be building a structure here for men to stand up and say, we are the example. We're not all these stereotypes and tropes that people and women have been placing on us for years. We're better than that. We're stronger than that. We can work together. But how in the hell can we work together when we start to alienate and attack and go after some of the brothers who are the pillars of what we consider to be the Manosphere? Whatever hoe ass nigga did that, and I ain't gonna say no names, because Angry Man, he already dropped the names of who he thought it was. And if it's true, that nigga's a hoe nigga. And if it's true, I already addressed him respectfully. But if I have to address him again, it will be disrespectfully if it becomes out that he was the one who was involved in this situation. Because now you have Angry Man himself saying, nah, I have to break away. Like Angry Man said, I gotta be the Ice Cube at NWA now. I gotta wash my hands of y'all, because I can't stand for the fuckery. Okay? But if we can stand on one square together, which will be almost unprecedented, right? Black men finally working on something out. The type of women that we're talking about, or other black men are talking about, will start to fall in line. And I don't mean we're gonna force them to do this. No, they're gonna come to the table willingly, or they're gonna come willingly. Okay? Right? As I've said before, I'm an SYSBM channel, so I'm not waiting around for that. Right? To me, it's a, I'm not putting high stock in it. Right? That is gonna happen anytime soon. I feel like it'll happen eventually. It can. But we shouldn't be taking shots at brothers who are moving. Understand that the Avengers all had different abilities, different powers. But when they came together to fight, they're the Avengers. They're a team when they fought together. Right? We can be on one square. Angry Man and Obsidian can be on one square. We can attack this thing from different areas, but not when we start to alienate our brothers. And act like one is better than the other and say there can only be one type of nigga. This is why I said we don't have to be warring with quote unquote Pookie Ray Ray. Right? If those are we consider those our brothers, we help those brothers and we clean them up. If it's necessary. If they want to stay wild and do what they do, then let them. But those who are willing to be on what the Manosphere is doing, then they will come, women included. Okay? But I do feel like we need to have a straight, cohesive message into what we talk about. I understand some are going to be a little bit more on the fuckery, some are going to be a bit more on the clown end and this and that, I guess. And I understand that some will say that, oh, all y'all do is talk about women and y'all should be talking about other stuff. Well, that's great and all, but guess what? Y'all don't want to hear that. All y'all really want to hear is the smoke. Why? Because the numbers say. When brothers are actually talking about structuring something, when brothers are actually doing something like having a Manosphere meet up and doing stuff like that, you had the brother Theo literally setting brothers up to go right into IT, starting out 90,000 six-figure jobs. I didn't go, of course, but I wonder how many brothers are actually signing up for that, being in that, and want to be successful in it. I'm sure there was some, but I'm sure it wasn't as many as it could have been. Because you'll have these different areas and corners that will say, y'all should talk about this. But it's like, when that does get talked about, nobody shows up. Shout out to One Master Teacher, because he'll talk about traveling and stuff that he'll do in these different countries all day. But when he literally talks about his financial stuff, because, you know, he is Think Smart Financials, that's what he does. When he starts talking his talk, how many people show up? When he starts talking about business, finances, and stuff like that, nobody shows up. That's just a talking point, man. Right? To try to, once again, try to shame to say, oh, you only talk about women. It's a part of what needs to be corrected. Right? It's a part of what needs to be corrected. It all matters. And everybody can have different viewpoints, where some people are better at talking about the business. Some people are better at addressing the fuckery. Some people are better at addressing and telling young men, you need to go this way. You know what I'm saying? We can have lawyers, doctors, mentors, you know, guys who are into fitness, guys who are just going to be more about the entertainment. It all can exist in one place. Right? It all can exist in one sphere. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. There are some, to me, who say one thing, but then they'll do another. You'll advocate for change, but it has to be your way. As though we can't all be interconnected. You see how at one point everybody was championing Kevin, and now that he's actually getting there, because of so many of different guys supporting him, he's actually there. Now there's so many turncoats on him. Where it's just like, you have a point, but do we need to be shooting in-house? Some have more valid reasons than others. But at the end of the day, what is the main objective? What is the mission plan? What is the focus, and what is the purpose? Okay, that's why I look at it. Some say SYSBM is adjacent to Manosphere. That's fine. I don't care about that. Some people want to group and try to, you know, categorize, box, and you're here, you're here, you're here. That's okay, whatever. All I know is that I'm going to talk my shit when I feel like there's something that needs to be addressed. Period. And I don't want a convoluted conversation coming from Nikki's angle saying that there's certain type of men that are saying this are the non-desirables. The only men who are complaining are the ones who are not getting picked. That's ridiculous. How many celebrities are having full-blown same issues that are being addressed every day within Manosphere? Same issues. Brothers are falling prey and falling victim, and these are high status, high level dudes falling prey and falling victim. The same type of dudes that all these women say that they will go after, falling prey and falling victim to a lot of the same fuckery that gets addressed in the Manosphere areas all the time. All the time. And if they would have heard or maybe known about certain things, maybe it could have saved them, maybe it wouldn't have. But to say that we shouldn't speak on it in public is blasphemy. Nah, who the hell are you to tell us we can't speak? You don't direct men. You don't tell us what the fuck we say. Who are you? And what authority do you have to address and direct black men on how they fucking speak? The question you should ask is, why are black men speaking the way they're speaking? And don't just try to brush it off like, oh, it's just the undesirables. It's just the niggas nobody wants. That's bullshit and you know it. That's bullshit and you know it. Don't sit here and start trying to hedge the corners and say that it's okay if you say things like Kevin does, but if you say things like other men, I can't support it. When Kevin comes from the same place, you can't make Kevin an outlier. And his information and facts are the same things that is talked about in the space. It came from the space. You can't separate Kevin from that. Right? Your perception of who Kevin is off if that's the case. Understand that Kevin came from the same podcast, spaces, people talking, Manosphere. Kev is one of us. Because you addressed everything you didn't like, and almost all of that is what Kev talks about. Now you can say, oh, he was respectful, but see, that's the thing, is that you look at Kev like, oh, he's not like them. Like who? He's not like them. Like, who is the them? Kev is us. It's all one really kind of cohesive thing. Some characters have different superpowers, but it's technically all one square. Black men who are advocating for the better benefit or for the progress of black men. And some who want a better culture and community, which I think the most will say that they do. I think we could say we all do, but there are some of us who are not waiting for it. If you ask my opinion, do I want to see a better community? Of course. Am I waiting for it to happen? No, I'm not. Okay? The thing is that I feel like there are some who feel like we're supposed to be fighting with women about this. We're not fighting y'all. We're not fighting with you. We're telling you what it is. You can be mad, you can lash out, but men are speaking. Sorry that bothers you, but guess what? You trying to shame men, it's not gonna work anymore. We're not going back in the box. It's a new day. Right? It's a new day. All that nonsense that was going on, all the Ricky Lakes, Maurice Donahues, time out. Time out. Ain't happening no more. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Right? It's a wrap. This is what it is. Now I understand that there are some who are going to complain and say, oh, y'all could do it better. Well, guess what? You don't get to address how men respond. Right? That's just like saying, I'm going to invade your country, but then again, I'm going to get mad when you start to do certain tactics that I didn't see coming. And now you upset because you losing the battle. And now you want to complain, oh, y'all not supposed to fight that way. Really? Says who? Says who? Keep in mind, a change is coming. You could be for it or against it. The decision has already been made. Pandora's box is already opened. It bothers some of you. But then, there's a great number of us who understand now is the time to strike. Now is the time to strike. Everybody won't make it. Understand that. Everybody won't make it. Everybody's not supposed to make it. We only need enough to stand strong in certain areas. Everybody can have different abilities, but we can't go to war internally. Right? We can't go to war internally over petty shit. Now, I will say, once again, whoever went after Angry Man and got his shit ripped down, that's a whole nigga. I don't give a shit. See, because there's some, I feel like, who are losing sight of what the goal is supposed to be. And if you come in here, or if you come into certain spaces where you have your own agenda, then you're on the other side. And you do need to be ostracized. You do need to be set to the wayside. You do need to be over there. So we can clearly identify who is and who isn't. I'll say this. I don't want these petty beefs to be the reason the manosphere could be fractured. I don't want these petty beefs, which is why I said I'm not in it, to be the reason why we had something going for so long and then it all fell once again. And we're back right where we started. And then the detractors would be like, oh, look, see, black men can't work together. You niggas can't never get it right. We have a full-blown opportunity. The defenses are down. Those who stand against what's being said don't have much to stand on. They really don't. Right? Now's the time. The fact that we're even having a conversation where Nicki Minaj herself felt as though she needed to personally speak on it lets you know how effective it is. Lets you know how strong the message is. That men are fed up. Men are tired of all the fuckery. And they want to see a change. And they're advocating for change. Those who stand against it are getting pushed to the side. There's too much force going one direction. Kevin Samuels is a clear sign of that. The Manosphere stock is trending high. It's trending up. Because more and more people are starting to catch earshot and wind of what it is. More and more men are starting to understand and agree what it is. Agree to what it is. And say, you know what? I wish I would have heard that when I was such and such years younger. But that's the video for today, guys. I don't want to ramble all day. You know what I mean? I made my point. Got it out there. We addressed it. You know what I mean? It's just that once again we have to see, the idea that you're going to, put the muzzle on black men. Don't speak about that in public. Nah, I'm sorry, I can't stand for that. That ain't gonna work. Right? And this beef shit. We need to do our best to make sure that we're doing the right things as men, like minds coming together, and those who have opposite or think other than minds, to a degree, who have different abilities, can be welcomed into the square. But hey, they're just in different departments. But it's one square. Like I said, guys, that's the video for today. Appreciate you for joining. Thank you to the new subscribers. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. Stay in touch with me, man. I have my contacts are down there. If you have any questions or anything like that for me, let me know. And with that being said, I'll see you on another one. Peace.